Welcome to another review on behalf of Aussie Gamers Express. I am your host, Chaser. This time we're having a look into the nail-biting world of Blues and Bullets. From the outset, this game gives the allure of a great storyline game, so my expectations are pretty high on presentation and delivery. Now, a great deal of care is given to drawing you in to multiple storylines, all occurring at once. Each episode takes you a little deeper. The story is quite compelling, and you'll find yourself forgetting about the other lines just as you're brought back into them. At times it can be a little bit James Bond, and there can be some love interests, but ultimately there's some good storylines. The most noted aspect of the game is probably the colouring. It's presented in black and white with the exception of the colour red. Now, the red is used quite well to draw the attention to attributes about a character or more obvious blood detail. I've also noted rather spectacular use of depth of field to draw attention to the environment around you. Now, I couldn't speak any higher of the artistic direction of this game. It's fantastic to watch, it's fantastic to experience. There are some points where you think that they could have done it better, but I'm not going to be overly critical on this point. They've done a fantastic job in showing off this environment. Now, the pace is set quite slow, and you are led every step of the way. There is little room for deviation. It reminds me a great deal about Grim Fandango. The controls feel so similar, but this is all done on purpose, and there are examples of control in the game that feel as fluid as any FPS. The game also sports some QuickTime events. Not everyone's a fan, but I find that they can be useful. I enjoyed them in Resident Evil 4 and Fahrenheit. However, I'm finding in this game it's a little bit drawn out. One thing that can be credited to the direction that this game has taken is that there's no painstaking tutorial. You pick up a controller, you intuitively feel it, which is a credit to the player having the ability to figure it out. Now, the core of the game is based around investigation and joining pieces of evidence together. It is rather rigid, however, in that you cannot piece information together and get it wrong. The game simply won't let you put the wrong pieces in the wrong place, which takes some of the finish off the game in that it won't let me connect pieces I want to put together. And ultimately, that's what feels it's lacking in its investigative nature, is I'm not putting the pieces together, I feel like I'm just jumping through hoops. One of the negatives of this game is the fight scenes where you do have to come out of cover and shoot. I find these to be very procedural. They don't need to be as long as they are, and they don't require much skill at all. If you fail them, you'll only be reset a very short distance back and you'll be sent through that trial again. Much similar to a lot of other games like this, like Fahrenheit, and also like some parts of Tomb Raider. One thing that does bother me is when you do start a new episode, it does reiterate everything that's happened in the previous episode. So I would suggest some separation of playtime between episodes 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Simply because playing it straight through can be a little bit tedious because the gameplay itself doesn't change. The demonic ritualistic natures expressed remind me a great deal of Resident Evil 4's depiction, or how I felt about it at the time, that there's this sinister looming, this element of grandeur beneath the surface. It's really quite intriguing. Now, I'm hesitant to say anything negative about the storyline because it does seem to be evolving as the episodes develop, and it does become more sinister each time. So I am actually looking forward to episode 3, 4 and 5 and how they develop in their demonic fashion. Blues and Bullets, 5 out of 6 damsels in distress.